The largest air battle in 50 years took place just a couple days ago. Looking it up, it is the largest air battle since the Bekaa Valley, where the Israelis and the Syrians went at it. I wanted to look this up. Over 100 aircraft were involved in the battle in one of the biggest air battles since World War II. And that just took place in Asia. Pakistan and India just engaged in one of the largest air battles since World War II. The skies erupt. India and Pakistan engage in record-breaking aerial showdown. Pakistani Air Force Minister Ashik Dar claimed that the Pakistani Air Force faced a swarm between 75 and 80 Indian jets during the encounter, an engagement that dwarfs previous skirmishes since 2019. We're going to go through this. We're just kind of going to piece things together here. This was an incredible engagement that has implications that will ring for the United States, China, Russia, for the entire globe for years to come. For years to come. In what is now described as the largest air battle in South Asian history, an unprecedented dogfight involving 125 combat aircraft from both India and Pakistan erupted 2 days ago amid soaring tensions. Despite remaining within their respective airspaces, Indian and Pakistani jets reportedly exchanged long-range missile fire in a historic beyond-visual range confrontation that may reshape the regional balance of power. And a little bit later, we're going to watch the briefing from the Pakistani general as he describes what they did. And what they did is they used beyond-visual range weaponry to attack Indian aircraft in Indian airspace. What they used was the Chinese PL-15 missile with a range of approximately 150 kilometers, and were knocking down Indian aircraft in Indian airspace. Pakistani foreign minister claimed that the Pakistani Air Force feigned between... Yep, we already did that. As we successfully shot down 5 of those Indian planes, he declared, adding fuel to the highly volatile narrative of air dominance. Backing the minister's response, Pakistani's military spokesman, General Ahmed Sharif, stated, "You came 2 nights ago and at a time of your choosing with a full air defense coverage and still lost 5 planes. If you're truly effective, those 5 aircraft, including Rafales, wouldn't have fallen," he continued in a striking critique of Indian air capabilities. And what we go through here in this article are some of the periphery information. Now, as things have developed, more information has come out. We have the exact number of aircraft involved. We have their positions. We have the weapons involved. This is historic. Indian most modern fighter aircraft fall victim to Pakistan's J-10C textbook ambush. The operation, described as an ambush, also saw India lose a Mirage 2000, an Su-30 MKI, and a MiG-29, while investigators recovering Russian-made K-636DM ejection seats from crash sites, confirming aircraft involved. There's been a lot of denials about what's happened, but what has come clear is that India lost aircraft. This is absolutely clear now. I'm scrolling here to get to the description of the ambush. All right, here we go. The much-hyped Rafales failed miserably. The Indian pilots proved utterly incompetent, Dar said. Our forces would have taken out 10 to 12, but they were strict orders only to fire on those who fired. Notably, the Rafales were intercepted and destroyed nearly 100 kilometers inside Indian airspace, while Pakistani fighters remained within their own territory. Wreckage analysis revealed that the Indian aircraft were downed by Chinese-made PL-15E beyond visual range air-to-air fight missiles, an export variant with a range of 145 kilometers. And this is going to become incredibly relevant here soon, because that missile is in full service with the Chinese military. And that missile far outranges the current iteration of AMRAAM. This is, again, going a little bit more into it. This is a little bit about the missile itself. In a modern military aviation, total radar and radio silence involves completely shutting down an aircraft's radar and communication system to prevent detection by enemy sensors and electronic intelligence units. Radar silence ensures that no electronic emission can be picked up by radar warning receivers, while radio silence blocks interception of voice or data transmissions such as Link 16. The electromagnetic stealth allowed the PAF fighters to remain invisible until their weapons were fired, at which point the missiles were guided mid-course by AWACS aircraft. The final 20 to 30 kilometers of the missile's flight, the PL-15E's onboard X-band radar seeker activated, locking onto the targets with lethal precision. The Indian Rafales, despite being equipped with an RBE-2 AESA radar with a theoretical detection range of 200 kilometers, failed to detect the incoming threat. Most analysis attribute this to the PAF flying at extremely low altitudes, using the mountainous terrain to stay below the Indian radar horizon and exploit blind spots. Even if part of India's aircraft losses can be attributed to tactical mishaps or insufficient threat anticipation, the encounter underscores a critical evolution in modern combat. It demonstrates that air superiority in air warfare is no longer defined by platforms alone, but by the ability to see first, shoot first, connect faster across a networked battle space. Air combat today is fundamentally a struggle for information dominance where success depends on seamless integration of sensors, shooters, and command nodes via real-time, high-bandwidth data links. And this goes into the blending of the aircraft, weapon systems, observation platforms. What they were able to do, and it does say this specifically in an article. Here it is. Okay, here it is. Pakistan formally announced the purchase of J-10. That's not it. I apologize. These articles are quite large, and I'm trying to find exact spots in multiple spots in many, many articles. Here's what I wanted to show you. This is kind of gets into the specifics of how this worked. The PAF-10J-10Cs maintained total radar and radio silence throughout the mission, leveraging real-time guidance from airborne early warning and control platforms, including the Swedish Saab 2000 and Chinese ZDK-03. As of 2025, the Pakistani Air Force operates 9 Saab 2000 AWACS aircraft equipped with AESA radars capable of detecting aerial signals at ranges of up to 450 kilometers and sharing this data strictly across the battle space. In addition, the PAF previously acquired 4 ZDK-03 AWACS aircraft between 2011 and 2015, built on the Y-8 F600 airframe and fitted with Chinese-developed radars. These AWACS platforms relayed targeting data to the J-10s via encrypted data links, enabling the fighters to remain electronically silent while achieving full battle space awareness. And then it goes into the electromagnetic stealth. So what happened? These fighters stayed behind mountains and stayed out of range. Their targets were acquired by their AWACS. They fired their missiles. The AWACS guided the missiles mid-course until they were in their own radar range, at which point their X-band radars clicked on and went to target. How Pakistan's fleet of J-10 fighters defeated the Indian Air Force. As tensions between New Delhi and Islamabad continue to escalate, Pakistani officials have raised their country's fleet of Chinese-made J-10 fighters for their role in repelling Indian strikes. Chinese defense stocks have surged following Islamabad's assessment of the aircraft. According to Chinese state-run media outlets, Shenzhen listed stocks of the Chengdu aircraft increased more than 17%. In response to the launch of India's Operation Sindoor, targeting terror-affiliated training camps in Pakistan in retaliation for the April Pahalgam attack, Pakistan is alleged to have shot down at least 5 Indian fighters reportedly using its J-10 jets. According to Islamabad, Pakistani J-10 jets successfully took down 4 different types of aircraft, including a French-designed 4.5 generation Rafale fighter operated by the Indian Air Force. Additionally, Pakistan reportedly targeted a Soviet-made MiG-29 and Su-30. Here's the most relevant portion of this little article, and I'm not even going to continue after we get through this little part here so you can see it. Chinese media has endorsed claims by the Pakistani Defense Minister Khawaja Asif that J-10Cs were effectively able to interfere with Rafale's advanced radar and communication systems, causing its downfall in the skies. However, independent verification of how these Indian jets were lost has not been confirmed. Able to interfere with them. Very interesting. Very interesting. So they're claiming that there's been some kind of electronic interference that these J-10s are able to utilize that was very effective against Rafale. If that's the case, then there's a major problem. But for right now, what we've learned is that there were actually, according to some reports, and this is a Twitter post, this is early on, showing the location. This was the rough location of those battles. This battle actually took place for about an hour and a half. It involved 114 fighters on both sides of the border. Took place for over an hour, approximately an hour and a half. Again, these are the reported spots of the attacks. And we have confirmed now, a couple days later, confirmed the loss of Rafale. This is another Twitter post. We know the exact IAF Rafale that the PAF shot down because we have its tail number and images of it. French contractors are on their way to India to figure out what happened. That's in the news. Now, I want to bring up, this is the Pakistani general. He is going to explain to you the operation. And he explains it well. It's going to take a few minutes, but I do think it's worth it.
Air operations. On behalf of the Chief of the Air Staff and the whole Pakistan Air Force, I would like to avail this opportunity to first of all thank Allah, the Almighty, and dedicate this historic face-off to the Pakistani nation for their trust and faith in the armed forces. Very special thanks to the military leadership for their foresight and all-out support by the Chief of the Army Staff, and especially to the Chief of the Air Staff for his guidance, strategic vision, and the direction that he gave to the Air Force to create history like this. He really led from the front. He was involved all the way during this operation, spearheaded it, choreographed it. We call it the new art of war. This BVR fight of a couple of dozens up to 70 from their side, about 40, crossing 100, is the first ever in the history of aviation. It is going to be taught as a textbook case and a study and a reference material in the aerial combat history. I will...
He's not wrong. This battle will be studied by militaries around the world starting yesterday. It is historic. This is one of the most historic air battles to have taken place in a long, long time. The use of fourth generation aircraft, the use of AWACS, the use of long range missiles, data links, things like that is transforming the battle space. When I say fourth generation aircraft, I mean that they are just literally going to be falling by the wayside. Clearly, they are too easily targeted. Back to the general.
I will distill some tactical details for you because they impact on the larger strategy, and run through very quickly so as to bring you all up to speed on what happened and how did it happen. This is the Indian side, this is the Pakistani side. We had some caps in the north, center, south, and AEW just to support it. And the IF fighters started an initial build-up that was picked up from the north and the center across IB at 0010 hours. And by that time, PF had initiated its response within 2 minutes. By 0012, our response was activated. The IF started to get their fighters get airborne in large numbers. But by the time it has come to 12:30, we were pretty sure that this is going to be the day and the time to knock some sense into these guys once again. So we commenced our multi-domain operations, the pride and joy and the new concept of war that we have. This is the picture that's getting jumbled up. We have huge number of IF fighters that are stacked up in azimuth and vertical all across, and the PF DCA response is in position. The complete package, when it gets into shape, it is on 4 axes, and we perceive that they will have 4 incisions just to embroil. Up to 60 aircraft, including 14 Rafales, were electronically ID'd by all through our electromagnetic operational environment. We call it the EMO. So by the time they were in air, we had sorted out and contracted all fighters and accounted for. The 60 number, that augmented to 72 through their scrambles that kept on coming just to reinforce and supplement and to saturate the air defense. They thought they could do that for the Pakistani ADGE, air defense ground environment. The complete DCA package response by Pakistani side was also there. We had 42 high-tech aircraft on our side.
72 Indian aircraft, 42 Pakistani aircraft, 114 high-tech modern aircraft.
And the strategy was to have force concentration in our selected AOR and fight at our own strength. PF fighters ensured Pakistan's air sovereignty, and because of that, we first rerouted all civilian traffic that was about to go from Lahore, Islamabad, and this area, because we thought that this is going to be the hot plate. So we wanted safety for all the civil airliners. When they had seen this kind of a strong defense on our side, they resorted to launching their air-to-ground weapons while being cis-frontier. And as soon as they had launched the weapons, we could ID that instantly. And the Chief of the Air Staff, as I mentioned, he was in the COC. He has been there for a couple of nights. I have seen him there. So when I said that he spearheaded and he led from the front, he really did that. And he changed the contract. We were given the rules of engagement first to deter. And as soon as this thing happened, we changed our rules of the game in the air from deter to assure kill, deny own loss. PF strategy changed. We had a plan. We thought that Indians, the last time they said that they would have Rafales and they could have created any difference. So we targeted their center of gravity and the Rafales. That's why you see good numbers for that. We would have had more numbers, but we showed restraint. Ladies and gentlemen, the thing about this whole play time was this thing lasted for more than an hour. With so many large number of aircraft, so many large number of aircraft on both sides, with so many grinds, and the flow of the BVR, the modern warfare has changed so much that the long stick, the employment is if you don't shoot, you get shot. So
if you don't shoot, you get shot. If you don't shoot, you get shot. Is there anything more prophetic to come out of this than that? If you don't shoot, you get shot.
So that is why the art was to employ them optimally, and that was a big challenge for us. That is why I say that it has never happened before. These are the locations with the range bearing, electronic ID that we think that we are sure that we have shot. A MiG-29 was shot 8 miles from LOC, bearing 24320 nautical miles from Srinagar. A Su-30 was shot 192, 19 miles, 25 miles from LOC. We have
Notice they have the make and model. They have all the information about these aircraft. Their AWACS also captured pilot transmissions, which we're going to hear in another video.
The exact details, because you cannot, in the modern battlefield, you cannot conjure up things out of imagination. You have regime.
Like he said, you can't conjure up things out of imagination. You've got to have verifiable evidence. And whatever you may think, whatever your side you might be on, the plain and simple military analysis, the tactical analysis, the strategic analysis of this is simple. Pakistan surprised India with the resilience of their response.
I would request AVM Aurangzeb to kindly explain this.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are high-speed projectiles that went higher in the upper atmosphere and then came back. So our radar is picking up, PF has the capability to pick high-speed projectiles. So our radar picked up this well in time. All three, the ones that went up in the north at the radial of 310 in the north and then came back, landed in the Indian territory, and one of them came in at our site, which was neutralized in midair. So keeping the tactical details apart, but this is totally ridiculous kind of concept of operation where you are jeopardizing your own safety of your own people and escalating this thing to such a point which might be point of no return.
So this is near Dinga because there is a methodology, there is a way where and how to engage it, and there it was shot down and taken down. This is a part of the debris of that projectile, that long-range missile that came. Now, this is again interesting, the Indian propaganda that is going on day in, day out for last 24, 36 hours that we are seeing, that Pakistan has attacked at multiple places in India. Pakistan has attacked, Pakistan aircraft is there, and Pakistan have strike missiles and send drones and do what and I don't know what. We have got so sick and tired, and it is no, we just stopped even following this sort of nonsense and stories and humor that is coming from there. The Indian journalists are themselves also saying, I never deleted tweets, but today I am deleting all tweets that I made without verifying the claims of our Indian media channels. I feel sad, not because...
That may not be the video. I apologize, but it did show you the high-speed projectiles. And what we're going to see here, this isn't a video, but this is just an article from the war zone, and it goes through the missiles of each side. And of course, everything in this article that I'm talking about will be in the description, so you're able to look at all this stuff yourself. But it goes through the different missiles, air-to-air missiles that each side has, and the capabilities of those missiles, the paper capabilities of those missiles. And it just goes through pretty much the entire arsenal of them. And this is where you get the statistics on AMRAAM. And we're going to go a little bit deeper into this because the repercussions of this battle are incredible. The AIM-120C5 provides a maximum range of 46 miles. The Pakistanis also had, as we've stated before, the PL-15 with a range of 124 miles. Do you see the issue? Do you see the issue that I'm getting at? Now, we do have an intelligence coup that has happened here. Portions of a complete intact PL-15 missile landed in India. And this goes through, every one of these articles is archived, so that way I can avoid the ads and it can always be there for you. But a complete, fully intact PL-15 missile was found in India. This is the PL-15 modeled next to the J-35. In a peer-to-peer competition, and we are no longer a near peer with China. I was watching a presentation yesterday from an Air Force general, a brigadier, and he was discussing that we need to reevaluate. We are no longer a near peer. China is now a peer. We are in a peer-to-peer world. So seeing the PL-15 with a range of up to 300 kilometers which is about 185 miles. And you know that the AMRAAM does not have that range. It just doesn't have it. So we have a vulnerability, gentlemen. We have a vulnerability. That vulnerability is currently sitting on board U.S. Navy ships. If you are outranged that significantly, let's just round them off. 50 miles to 175 miles. You have 125 miles there where you are dead. And I understand we're flying in our stealth aircraft and everything, but as radar technology evolves and other sensor systems evolve, such as I did a video just about a month and a half ago about how DARPA has learned to utilize the Earth's atmosphere itself to use it as a tracking system. They were able to track the re-entry of a Falcon 9 rocket over Florida from New Mexico using nothing more than the flow of electrons through the Earth's atmosphere. So with that, the range of an AMRAAM becomes very significant with the range of a PL-15. Doesn't matter what aircraft you're using if you're utilizing different forms of tracking, such as that. The new AMRAAM 120D be complementary to the secret of AIM 260 Raytheon Executive. And I brought this up because there are certain statistics in here, right here specifically. While Norman did not comment on specific range performance, industry sources suggested that the AIM 120D3 is approaching the threshold range of 120 miles. The source also stated that the AIM 260 might be able to reach targets well over 120 miles. We have to start thinking in longer ranges than that now. We have to start thinking in ranges of hundreds of miles of long-range loitering air-to-air munitions. Where our aircraft launch them, they fly out hundreds of kilometers, loiter until their targeting data is sent to them via AWACS, fighter aircraft, ground target, you name it. Air combat is about to change. This is just the toe in the water. This is one of the most significant air battles. I would dare say one of the most significant air battles in human history. Given the implications, how technology is driving the munition, the tracking, the aircraft, the training. Air combat is changing. Will you need stealth aircraft in the future? Especially if that kind of tracking method we're using the flow of electrons on in Earth's atmosphere. Is it even necessary at that point? Or is it so necessary because that technology is so young that you have 5 decades maybe before its practical implementation into small things such as missiles? Therefore, you're using X-band radars, things like that, so stealth is even more necessary. Are these missiles going to be able to detect stealth aircraft? The U.S. right now, after seeing what happened in India and Pakistan, the U.S. Navy should be the most alarmed of any force in the United States. Its aircraft carrier battle groups have just been shown to be vulnerable to long-range air-to-air missile fire. Yes, we have F-35, F-35Bs and Cs out in the fleet. The predominant aircraft on the fleet are still Gen 4. F-18 Super Hornets, E-2C, These are not stealth aircraft. These are aircraft very vulnerable to long-range air-to-air missiles. And you have a distance where the U.S. is not competing. They are able to launch 100 miles away from you and knock you down before you can even get into range. This is one of the most significant air battles in history. It shows the direction of, like I said, training, tactics, technology, and airframe. What will happen in the future with it? I don't know. But like the Pakistani general said, this is going to be taught for years to come. This is going to be taught for years to come. When the skies erupted, the world changed. The world changed. Long-range air-to-air combat, we knew it was a thing. The United States Navy had the Phoenix missile on board F-14s since the 1960s. 1970s, I'm sorry. But that said, the integration of technology is frightening. And its capabilities are expanding. And that's really all I got. I'm going to leave you with the general's words here. But if you like the video, I hope you hit like, subscribe, share it with a friend, let them know. Aerial combat has changed forever. And one of the most historic air battles in human history, and one of the largest since World War II, just took place. And you're not hearing a damn thing about it. And its implications are huge for the United States, for every major power on this planet. Things are changing. I'm going to leave you with the general's words.
It is going to be taught as a textbook case and a study and a reference material in the aerial combat history.